Imagine waking one morning and noticing your ankles look a little puffy, the shoes feel tighter, and when you stand up too quickly, a lightheadedness lingers for a few seconds. For many people over 50, especially those approaching or past 60, these are not isolated annoyances but early signals of two closely linked problems: elevated blood pressure and fluid retention in the legs. These conditions often travel together because the same forces that raise the pressure inside your arteries, salt imbalance, reduced vessel elasticity, and slower kidney clearance, also encourage fluid to pool in the tissues of the lower limbs. The good news is that this is not simply old age catching up. It is a physiological picture that responds to targeted, realistic changes in diet and lifestyle. Leading cardiovascular authorities emphasize that what you eat can shift this balance. Diets richer in potassium and plant-based, lower in sodium, and inclusive of specific whole foods are associated with measurable reductions in blood pressure and improved fluid regulation. Meanwhile, clinicians who study swelling, peripheral edema, remind us that swelling results when fluid leaks from tiny blood vessels into surrounding tissue and the body's drainage systems, the kidneys and the lymphatic network, fall behind. Identifying the cause is essential, but modest changes that reduce retained salt and inflammation often deliver rapid improvements in comfort and circulation. In this video, I will guide you step by step through 4 foods that act like practical tools, foods that help the body shed excess fluid, relax blood vessels, and restore a healthier sodium-potassium balance, so you can lower your blood pressure, ease that leg swelling, and regain energy and confidence in your daily life. What happens inside the body when blood pressure rises and the legs begin to swell is far more intricate than most people realize. Picture the circulatory system as a vast network of flexible hoses that deliver life-giving blood to every cell. When those hoses stiffen with age, or when too much sodium accumulates, pressure builds up within them. The heart has to push harder, which means each beat sends blood out with excessive force. Over time, this constant pressure damages the delicate walls of the arteries, forcing plasma, the liquid part of the blood, to seep into surrounding tissues. The result is the familiar puffiness in the feet, ankles, and sometimes even the calves. That swelling is not just water trapped under the skin. It's evidence that the circulation and drainage systems are under stress. After the age of 60, several mechanisms amplify the problem. The kidneys, responsible for filtering excess salt and water, lose efficiency. The small vessels that once expanded easily become less responsive because the body produces less nitric oxide, the molecule that keeps arteries relaxed and flexible. As a consequence, the same meal that once caused no reaction might now trigger spikes in blood pressure or visible swelling by the evening. Many people assume these changes are inevitable, just part of growing older, but medical research shows they are largely the result of modifiable factors. In fact, studies have repeatedly demonstrated that even small dietary adjustments can improve vascular function, reduce sodium load, and support natural diuresis, the process through which the kidneys flush out extra fluid. Another hidden culprit is chronic inflammation. When the body's tissues are mildly inflamed, the vessels leak more easily, and the lymphatic system, the body's waste drainage network, struggles to keep pace. Inflammation is influenced not only by infection or injury, but by food choices, stress, and inactivity. That's why, in many cases, the true solution lies not in another pill, but in rebalancing what goes on your plate. The nutrients you choose can literally instruct your arteries to relax, your kidneys to filter more efficiently, and your cells to retain less salt. Understanding this inner dialogue between food and physiology is the first step toward reclaiming control over your health. And here is something profoundly hopeful. The body is remarkably adaptive. The same biological processes that contributed to the problem can, when given the right fuel, repair themselves. When nitric oxide levels rise again, vessels open, blood pressure declines, and that heavy, uncomfortable feeling in the legs fades. The most powerful tools for achieving this aren't found in a pharmacy, they're in the kitchen. 4 everyday foods, easy to find and easy to enjoy, can help restore this balance in a way that medication alone cannot. Before I reveal them, if you find this information valuable, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. It helps this community grow and ensures you never miss practical, science-backed advice to keep your heart, circulation, and energy strong. Because the truth is, you are not powerless against high blood pressure or swollen legs. Your body still listens to what you feed it. With every meal, you can either promote tension and retention, or invite relaxation and release. In a moment, we'll explore those 4 foods that act almost like nature's medicine, each one with its own way of calming the bloodstream, easing the burden on the heart, and gently drawing excess water out of the tissues. These are simple, affordable, and safe choices, but when combined, they can make a real difference in how you feel every single day. Let's begin with the first natural ally in lowering blood pressure and reducing leg swelling, the cucumber. At first glance, it seems too ordinary to be medicinal, yet its simplicity hides a sophisticated mechanism. Cucumber is more than 95% water, but that water is rich in structured minerals, particularly potassium and silica, that encourage the kidneys to expel excess sodium. It works as a natural diuretic without disturbing the body's delicate mineral balance. When sodium decreases, pressure in the bloodstream softens, and the tissues that had been holding onto water begin to release it. Adding cucumber to your daily meals, whether sliced in salads or blended into a morning juice, creates a gentle yet continuous flushing effect. Many people notice that within a few days, their ankles feel lighter and their rings fit better. In a way, cucumber teaches the body to let go of what it no longer needs. The second food is far more colorful: beetroot. Scientists have long admired beets for their natural nitrates, compounds that the body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide acts as a signal telling the arteries to relax, widen, and allow blood to flow more freely. When this happens, the heart doesn't need to work as hard, and the entire circulatory system feels relief. In clinical studies, older adults who consumed beet juice regularly experienced measurable reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure within just a few weeks. Beets also carry antioxidants like betalains, which protect vessel walls from inflammation and oxidative damage. They can be roasted, blended into smoothies, or even grated raw into salads. Whichever form you prefer, consistency is what counts. Over time, the body responds as if it were being gently trained to stay open, elastic, and calm. Our third food is one that balances the invisible scale between sodium and potassium: the avocado. Beyond its creamy texture, avocado is a mineral powerhouse, containing nearly twice as much potassium as a banana. Potassium is the counterweight to sodium. It helps cells release water, moderates nerve impulses, and keeps the heartbeat steady. When potassium intake is sufficient, the body naturally excretes more sodium through urine, reducing pressure on the arteries. Unfortunately, many people over 60 consume far less potassium than they need, largely because processed foods and breads replace the fruits and vegetables that once dominated traditional meals. By reintroducing avocado, perhaps half a fruit at lunch or mashed on whole grain toast, you help restore that critical balance. The result is not only lower blood pressure, but also steadier energy and better muscle function. And then there is the fourth food, a tropical gift with a dual power: pineapple. Sweet, fragrant, and easy to digest, pineapple contains an enzyme called bromelain that acts as a mild anti-inflammatory. It reduces the tendency of blood to become too thick, enhances circulation, and supports the lymphatic system, the body's hidden drainage network that removes waste and excess fluid from tissues. Bromelain's effect is gentle but cumulative. Used regularly, it helps the body process inflammation that may have lingered for years. Moreover, pineapple provides vitamin C, which strengthens vessel walls, making them less prone to leaking fluid into surrounding tissues. A few slices a day, or a small serving of fresh pineapple after meals, can contribute to both flavor and healing. Together, these four foods, cucumber, beetroot, avocado, and pineapple, form a nutritional quartet that targets the causes of swelling and high pressure from different directions, sodium removal, vessel relaxation, mineral balance, and inflammation control. But knowledge alone changes nothing without practice. The real transformation begins when these foods become part of your daily rhythm. Picture your morning starting with a glass of beet and cucumber juice, a vivid crimson drink that awakens your circulation. At lunch, you might enjoy a salad topped with slices of avocado and sprinkled with a few herbs instead of salt. Then, in the evening, finish your meal with a few chunks of fresh pineapple, allowing its enzymes to aid digestion while its sweetness replaces dessert cravings. This routine is simple, satisfying, and profoundly restorative. You're not following a restrictive diet. You're aligning your body with foods that work for it, not against it. Within 7 days of consistent use, many people notice that their legs feel lighter, shoes slip on more easily, and the tightness around the ankles begins to fade. Their blood pressure readings, too, start to show improvement, not through force, but through balance. These foods communicate with the body's own systems, reminding the kidneys to release, the vessels to open, and the heart to beat with ease. None of this replaces medical care. Rather, it complements it, giving your medications a helping hand and sometimes even allowing the doctor to adjust them as your health improves. It's the harmony between science and nature, between discipline and enjoyment, that makes the difference. Consistency is the secret ingredient. By keeping these foods close at hand, preparing them in varied ways, and understanding why they matter, you transform eating from a habit into a form of healing. Remember, each meal is a conversation with your body, and the words you choose are the nutrients you give it. When you choose wisely, your body listens, softening, calming, and releasing the weight it once carried. When you look closely at how the body responds to these changes, the science feels almost poetic. As your diet shifts toward water-rich, potassium-heavy, and anti-inflammatory foods, the internal chemistry that once raised your pressure begins to quiet down. Nitric oxide production increases, helping arteries relax just a little more each day. The kidneys, those silent filters working around the clock, start to release trapped sodium, and the bloodstream becomes cleaner, less burdened by excess fluid. Each of these effects is small on its own, but together they build momentum. Within a few weeks, that heavy, throbbing sensation in the legs often diminishes. The rings that once left marks on your fingers fit more comfortably, and your morning blood pressure readings start to level out. What you're witnessing is not luck or coincidence. It's the body healing itself once the obstacles are removed. Researchers in cardiovascular medicine often say that the most powerful therapy is consistency. Not the most expensive supplement, nor the latest gadget, but the quiet, daily repetition of what works. This is the truth behind lifestyle medicine. Your plate is your first prescription, your kitchen your first pharmacy. Food changes gene expression, influences hormones, and even teaches the body how to manage stress. By relying on natural sources of potassium, nitrates, antioxidants, and enzymes, you reduce the triggers of inflammation and fluid retention at their roots rather than simply masking the symptoms. That is why so many people who adopt this approach notice more than lower blood pressure. They experience better sleep, improved mental clarity, and a renewed sense of vitality. It is the restoration of flow, in every sense of the word. And if you've been watching this far, it means you're ready to take real action. Before we move to the closing, I want to invite you once more. Subscribe to this channel, because each week we share evidence-based insights to strengthen your heart, your circulation, and your confidence in your own health. This is not about quick fixes. It's about understanding your body and supporting it through knowledge. When you subscribe, you're not just following a channel. You're joining a community that values clarity, truth, and self-care over fear or confusion. Now let's bring everything we've learned together. Think back to that image from the beginning, the feeling of waking up with swollen legs, or that dizziness when standing. Those were the body's signals asking for attention. Today, you've learned that these signals can be answered not with resignation, but with understanding. By choosing the right foods, cucumber, beetroot, avocado, and pineapple, you're using nature's design to restore the flow that aging tries to slow. You're teaching your heart to beat with less resistance, your vessels to stay open, and your tissues to breathe again. Every time you sit down to a meal rich in these gifts, you're giving your body permission to recover. There's a quiet power in realizing that age is not the enemy. It's the evidence of experience. The body doesn't forget how to heal, it just needs the right conditions to do so. When you start nourishing yourself with intention, you'll notice not only physical changes but emotional ones too. Calmer moods, deeper sleep, and a sense of lightness that goes beyond the legs or the heart. You'll remember what it feels like to move without heaviness, to rest without anxiety, and to wake with energy that lasts. So take this message with you. Healing begins with awareness, and awareness begins with listening. The foods you choose are messages of care that your body understands better than any pill or slogan. If this video has inspired you, leave a comment below sharing your experience with swelling, pressure, or the foods you've tried. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs. And as always, stay kind to yourself, stay consistent, and let nature work through you. You deserve to feel strong, balanced, and free in your own body, no matter your age.